was in Detroit in 1992. And the reason I joined it was because there was a high school journalism program run by the Detroit Free Press, and there was a woman named Dr. Louise Reed Ritchie who marched us over to the NABJ convention and made us all join. I had no idea what I was joining. I knew the purpose, had a little bit of knowledge about it, but I didn't know that I would be standing here 25 years later with an organization that not only helped me grow professionally and personally, but became truly a second family for me. And so when I went through everything that I went through, some of the first calls that I received were from a lot of people here at NABJ, from Sarah Glover to numerous members, my brothers from the Sports Task Force. They held me down in ways that I can't even begin to describe and tell you. Of course, we all know that when things are going great and when everybody loves you, that everybody's in your corner and they're ready to support you. It's when you go through a battle that you really find out who loves you, who's with you, who's down, who's your ride or die. And NABJ is my ride or die. I also want to thank the Detroit Free Press. That was the paper rather, that raised me as well. I started working at the Free Press when I was 16 years old. I interned at the Free Press. I spent 6 years there as a full-time staffer covering my alma mater, Michigan State. And I met so many wonderful journalists. Bob Magruder was one. Bob Magruder today, my easiest salary negotiation ever. I gave Bob a number. He was like, all right, and gave me my first signing bonus. So shout out to Bob. But I love Bob Magruder because he was an example of everything that journalism should be, and for him to be a black executive, someone for all people to look up to, but especially for young black journalists, it was very special that he took an interest in my career the way that he did. But the other wonderful thing about the Free Press is that they also had plenty of women who I could look up to, who mentored me, who took me under their wing, who did incredible things for me, and most importantly gave me a sense of place and of belonging. One of which is here today, Rachel Jones, who is one of my first two mentors. She took this girl at 16 years old, perm not quite right, and helped her mature into the person that I am today. I also like to thank Michael Smith, my co-host. We've been through a lot together. It was an exciting last 13 months, to say the least, in between my struggles, what happened with the 6 o'clock Sports Center, but Mike held me down. He's another ride or die. And throughout all the turmoil, all the struggle, he was such a listening ear and a great sounding board, so I can't thank him enough. I'd also like to thank some other folks who are here with me today, and one of which is not, who I'll get to that a little bit later. Thank you to Evan Nick, my ambassador, Aquan, my agent, my manager. If you're wondering who's this white guy walking around here, it's Evan. Don't call security on him. You'd be happy to know, Evan, I have the CAA notes with me, so I'm sure you'll appreciate that. I'd also like to thank my family, and that starts with my grandmother who has passed. She was somebody who gave me my stubbornness, taught me how to eat weird food, also taught me how to play poker and cards, which my mother didn't truly appreciate as well, taught me how to bowl. So a lot of the strength I definitely get from her. I'd like to thank my father who is here. I like to think I get my sense of humor from him, but also his level of quiet thoughtfulness. I'd like to thank my stepfather. You know, everybody who has been in a blended family knows that it's not always easy, but my stepfather has been a great support, so I'd like to thank him as well. Also, my mother. I have a lot to say about her, but I'm gonna try to keep this short, Mom, and try not to make you cry. Thank you, Mom, for praying for me, for weeping for me, for loving every one of my numerous imperfections. Thank you for everything, and even sometimes when you think I'm not listening, trust me, I'm listening. I'd also like to thank the rest of my family and my friends who are here. They didn't have to be here, they decided to come, and I truly appreciate you all. I'd like to thank the previous winners, looking right at Roland Martin, a journalist who I've looked up to, April Ryan. For her to say that about me is unbelievable, because being one of the few, maybe the only black person covering the White House right now, I can only imagine her struggles. the fact that I'm now in a long legacy of these incredible winners and journalists of the year is something that is blowing my mind as I stand before you right now. I also like to thank all the honorees. You are wonderful, you're talented, you're brilliant, and you deserve to be acknowledged on this stage here tonight. As April Ryan so eloquently said, that we are standing on the shoulders of somebody. I think over the last year, my shoulders have gotten pretty tough. And there's one wish that I have is that younger journalists that come to this convention, I want them to know that you can stand on my shoulders anytime. And finally, last but not least, I'd like to thank the city of Detroit. I know it's a city, it's hard to thank a city, it's an inanimate object in some respects. But the city of Detroit, as was mentioned earlier, it's important that you guys understand how vital, critical, and important that we are here at this convention in this particular city at this particular time. Detroit, for many years, for most of my growing up, was never in the news for anything good, ever. We were the national joke, we were laughed at, we were mocked, we were disrespected. People didn't think that we deserved nice things. People have rooted for this city to fail for a very long time. And we're still here, we're still standing, and we're still resilient. I take a lot of my toughness, a lot of my character from this city. I wouldn't be anything without this city. And so I just want Detroiters to know, this city to know, thank you, and I love you always. And thank you all of you for being here tonight. This is a very special moment. I'm gonna get off the stage now because this lash is like, look girl, you only got about 5 more minutes. But no, in all seriousness, this is the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me in my career. Exciting is probably not the right word. Most emotional thing, the highest honor I could have possibly received because it came from NABJ and it's in my city. So good night and thank you guys.